to do so for the betterment of the people of South Africa. I can't agree to that.
But do you accept, Minister, that even if, or where you have the power, this huge responsible power,
yes,
to change things for the better of our country and for our citizens,
yes,
that you also have to consult with people before you exercise that power, the people who are directly affected when you exercise that power? For example, to shut down a political killings task team that our president thought in May 2018, not thought, he came here, he said the political killings, not because he was discriminating or treating killings in KZN different from killings elsewhere in the country. He said this has become a problem and I need a dedicated approach to resolve this problem. It does so. No, can I now speak? So this problem is addressed by the formation of a political task team. He appoints an interministerial committee. Now, we're not going to debate the legality, constitutionality of whether you could disband it or not. But there is the committee. Colleagues with you in your cabinet. Did you not think it was important to engage with them? There is absolutely no indication from your lawyer's notes, from your statement, from your oral evidence here yesterday and today, that you engage with them to say, colleagues, this is now weighing heavily on my mind. It's already heading towards the end of the year. I feel like writing a letter on the 31st of December. Can we discuss this? You discuss it with your deputy ministers, but you don't discuss it with your other ministers. Key players, Minister of Intelligence, Minister of Defense, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. These are the ministers that form this group. So even if it's a political structure, and even if the task team, according to you, were acting under its direction and it was a political issue, even more reason why you should have consulted with them and engaged with them. Why didn't you?
Now, just a question first. Are you suggesting that we must ignore the meeting of the 1st and the meeting of the 22nd and remove it from my evidence? That it doesn't exist, even though I say it does exist?
I'm not going to remove anything.
Okay.
Whatever you have said here yesterday, whatever is on paper is part of our record, and it will be taken into account when an evaluation is made by me, by other honourable members of this committee. They, of course, have minds of their own. They're going to evaluate the evidence. I'm asking you a specific question, and I've directed you to the fact that there was this committee, this intermediate, that you have not engaged with your colleagues.
I am happy, Cedar Council, that you recognize the meeting of the 1st of November. I am happy, Senior Council, that you recognize the meeting of the 22nd where these matters were raised. But in answer to you, there was no dedicated day. There was no dedicated meeting to discuss the National Political Killings Task Team before I wrote the letter of directives. But I am putting it that the directive does indicate the need for a meeting on the 20th of January, that is after, to discuss in the form of a report. I am saying there was also an indication for the need to discuss in the MINESCO later in January. So those matters were recognized, and I'm saying this is a political task team in SAPS, and don't equate it to policing, overall policing in South Africa, to make me feel guilty that I didn't consult on the team, specifically in a dedicated manner, in a day. Don't make me feel guilty, because I'm not guilty for that. There are many other things that I needed to do and that I would do that would involve everybody and so on. And there are many things that I discussed which are fundamental, which involved everybody. So don't create an impression that I don't consult, even though I show evidence that
Minister,
I do consult.
Sorry to interrupt.
And we did have meetings.
I didn't create any impression.
I'm
asked
happy
you
with that.
a question. I put something to you, and then I asked you a question. I put to you that there's no indication from you, either in writing or in your oral evidence, that you ever consulted, and you haven't, still in your response now, you haven't mentioned the interministerial committee. So that is what I put to you, and that's the question I'm asking you, and you're not answering the question whether or not you consulted with your colleagues in cabinet, especially since you're a relatively new minister in that portfolio. You've got other ministers in the cabinet that form part of that committee who have been in their positions for quite a while, who could assist you, they could make an input, they could guide you. You haven't answered that question.
Yes, let me answer. There is no IMC in the 7th administration, like which featured in the 6th administration as a structure that was presiding over the steering committee and any other structure below on the political task team. It doesn't exist in the 7th administration. That is a fact. Secondly, you don't run a department like that. You don't say, just because you have your colleagues, you are going to convene a meeting to discuss any aspect of your department. You discuss in cabinet, you discuss in cabinet committees, you discuss in any other committee or whatever structure that exists. That's how government functions. Now, you can't just convene. You are not president. You can't just convene and say, you are older than me in cabinet. I want you to come and discuss with me some matter. It doesn't work like that. Now, that's number one. Number two, I have indicated that I didn't breach any law. I do want us to have an agreement or a consensus that I didn't convene a meeting with General Masimula, General Mkhwanazi, and General Khumalo. Doesn't constitute an offense in the department or anywhere or in the state. It doesn't. That's why I talk about, don't impose a feeling of guilt just because I didn't have a meeting with them. It doesn't work like that. If the discussions took a different form, it then means that it took a different form. If it was not adequate in the sense that it did not go for a full day or so, then so be it. But it shouldn't be registered in this ad hoc committee that I never made any statement for the need of review for the kind of situation that exists now, even though it is written in black and white that we did make policy statements in these meetings, and I'm putting that very strongly that these matters were raised in meetings. If they were not adequate, it means that time for adequate, focused discussions on the matter would have come. remember when I wrote this letter, I was 5 months into a 5-year term. But it was necessary. And I'm still saying, I stand by my letter, and it was legitimate, and it was proper that I raised this matter, because by then I had felt that we may even be breaching PFMA. And I needed to be able to be ready to say, when the year comes, I must be able to say, when I realized that there is that possibility, I didn't just keep quiet, even though we may be breaching the law. And that is important to me. That's important to me. So I consulted not on the disbandment, but on the need to review in whatever. But there were matters, as I say, that precipitated the writing of the letter of the 21st. But I did say, even though I decided on the 31st to do so, there were matters that couldn't allow me to consult on the basis of the risk that I explained yesterday. Because if I said this is one of the factors that are making me reach this decision, I couldn't discuss that at that time with them. I needed a particular platform, and this platform is one of those, and the platform in the Commission is one of those appropriately created platforms where we can then discuss these matters which concern other people who are affected by matters in the political killings task team. And I'm happy with the two platforms, that they offer us a full spectrum. So I'm saying, don't reach any conclusion on the matter, because you haven't heard it all until everything that has been concluded is there. But I am saying very strongly, even if there was no full day, even if there was no meeting with the 3 generals that you are talking about, there were policy statements that were made in those 2 meetings. And they conveyed very clearly what my intentions as minister was. Clearly, beyond any doubt, that I wanted a review. And it is based on work that was started in 2019. Very clear. And I have shown that you couldn't have a double, you couldn't have a structure that you intend implementing, which caters for the work of the political killings task team, but still have the political killings task team. You can't say so. You can't have that. It would be irrational. In fact, if I would have been called to account, I wouldn't be able to account. Why do you keep this team when you have a structure that you are supposed to be implementing, which you could have implemented long ago? You don't implement it, but you just keep. And why do you keep a team that deals with matters of a limited category of people in South Africa?
Minister,
when the majority of people are being killed there, you don't have the same specialization. You can't do that.
With due respect, you've made the point. You made the point. Some of us may even agree with you. Some of us may even agree with you that, it should be, your resources should be spread not only evenly, but equally, so that all our citizens are protected in the same way. We may even agree with you, but we're talking about a specific matter here, a task team that was established, they say, in accordance with the law. For the first time, you come and your lawyers come and say, actually, that team since 2022 was an unlawful structure. That's open to debate. We're not sitting as a court of law. We'll debate it. We've heard you. I've asked you about the interministerial committee. The short answer after your long answer now has been, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Under the 7th administration, it doesn't. So maybe you can tell us when or where, or in some cabinet committee meeting, or where this initiative of the president has now been abandoned. Maybe you can provide that to the committee. Our focus. So the short answer is that you didn't consult your colleagues. You say you've just been a few months into the position. One would have thought that's even more reason why you should have consulted your colleagues.
No,
because
I didn't have to consult
can I
them.
speak? Just because one of the most important aspects, not only of the political killings task team, but of other specialist dedicated teams, is working together in a multidisciplinary way, which most people seem to accept is the most effective way of dealing with crime, is in a multidisciplinary way, and the contribution that a dedicated prosecutor plays in that role. Because that's one of the important things that the task team established. They have a prosecutor who directs and says, no, I think you need more evidence here. I think you need to get a statement from that one there. That is all directed by the prosecutor so that the case comes to court quicker, and when it does come to court, the case is ready for trial. Now, let me move on from that. I think I've got the answer that I asked you for, and the honourable members have heard your response, and if they want to take it further, they'll get the opportunity. Now,
Welcome to